Hey, welcome back everyone. This is Guru Mayer and continuing our Viral Emotions series. This is a special series on betrayal, recovering from betrayal. This is our fifth, and we've been through several previous classes were shock and denial, anger, right? Bargaining and guilt, depression, and that brings us today to grief and sadness. So these are really the classic 5 or 7 stages of grief, because when you have been betrayed, there are a lot of losses involved. That you may lose a friend, you may lose faith and trust. Essentially, you're losing a lot of your sense of reality, of the way you thought life was to be. And we're just much more comfortable naturally when we know what is, when we know what to hold on to, that this person is going to treat me this way, that my belief about people in general or this person or the world is kept intact. So betrayal is a big, shocking ripping away of some of that reality that's very uncomfortable and unstabilizing. So that's why all those losses that occur, that we really are the recovery from betrayal is the process of grieving. Now, those other emotions that we've talked about and I mentioned, none of them are actually grieving. They are very often experienced by most people, but they are other emotions, each doing their job. Mostly we're trying to slow down the sudden change to our world from what it was to what it is when there's a loss and a betrayal. So those other emotions are a combination of resistance and such. But especially with that last emotion, and everybody goes through these in their own order at different times, but generally there's a pretty statistical trend that it's very exhausting to resist reality. It's, all the mental and emotional swirling that goes on. So we sort of but depression, as we talked last time, can help us, let go and accept. So now we've arrived to actual grief. Grief and sadness is the emotion that helps us heal from loss. So we want to work with it today and learn how to deal with it. And first I want to say that grief and depression are often mistaken for one another. And it's not our class today to explain all that, but maybe just this thought will help you understand that to begin to tease apart the difference. And why is that important? Because depression has a different job to do, has a different purpose than the purpose of grief. So we really have to work it with one emotion at a time, right? To be able to sort through it and let it help us. Now, sadness, grief. This is the emotion, finally, that can help heal our heart. And so today we're going to do a little practice for it, but just a little more information, understanding of the grieving process. First of all, it's not all those other stages. It is the stage where we sit in that low energy, right? Grieving, not like anger and fear. Grief, sadness takes us slow down, pay attention, be quiet, sort of close your world in, and that's an environment for self-reflection, self-understanding, and healing. So, but in our society, we tend to fight those lower, for most people that I work with, grief feels like weakness. Anger is much more like, that I feel strong and I can do, but anger can protect you, but anger can't heal your heart. protection is an important part of healing, but we've talked about that under the anger class. So the first thing is to, in general, my approach to emotions is to not resist them, that they've got something to tell you. And I'm really happy to hear that message more and more out in the culture. But what we have is tools to help us feel clear and strong, a little more neutral when we're working with our emotions. So breathing, yoga and meditation, mindfulness, these are essential supports for working with emotions, right? So we'll do that. We'll do some breathing to help us prepare ourselves to take on the emotion and relate to it and feel it and learn from it. So what is grief and sadness? What is their purpose? To help us be aware of what's most important to us. So think about it. You're never sad unless something's really important to you, right? Somebody on the street might, cut you off or say something mean to you, and it might hurt, but if it's your loved one, that really hurts, right? So the more important something is to you, the more you will grieve its loss. So think about that. And that means that grief is a beautiful, bittersweet emotion, that it reveals to you what is most important to you. And that's the thing we want to learn from it and listen to it. Why? Because if I suffer a big loss, loss of faith, loss of trust, loss of a person in my life, loss of a belief, it leaves me uncomfortable, it leaves me free falling. It's like I'm jettisoned into the ocean, and I was safe, but now I'm, free falling, swimming. So I need, it's okay, we need something to hold on to. And that's a lot of what belief does for us. But when your beliefs are shattered, okay, so grief can first help us see what we've lost, essentially what we've lost. And we'll get to that. Like, not just, okay, I lost my favorite pet, or I lost my grandmother. Not to attribute, those are huge losses, right? But, and this may sound weird, it's not the person or thing that we're actually grieving. It's what it brought to us. It's how we feel. It's our own experience that's important to us, and it's our experience. If I'm happier with my pet or my grandmother, or I'm happier being safe knowing that this person is trustworthy, a la Betrayal, then I need to know how important that is to me, and that it's really, it hurts. But how did I feel? What was my experience? I was uplifted. I liked my life better when everything was the way it used to be. I don't know what life will look like now. I've got to recreate it. Okay, so grief helps us recognize what's important, but we have to do that work with some neutral mind, hopefully, with some clarity. And then from that clarity, that inner wisdom, we can see clearly the depth of what we need, because a person, place, thing, belief, situation will change, and we can't bring that back. But the catalyst, or the thing that helps us to feel that's not limited in the universe. So, my pet made me feel unconditional love. Well, unconditional love is not gone with that one pet. All right? There's more pets, might be too soon, but there's also other ways to feel unconditional love, including just within myself. Just I can give that to myself. So that's the power of conscious grieving, that I can recognize the essence of what I need to be happy, And I can then also intuitively find and intellectually find more ways to get it. So there's my 10-minute introduction to what we'll be doing next. And what we'll be doing next is to do some pranayama, some breathing that will help us ease into the experience of grief. These difficult emotions, few of us enter them willingly. And in fact, we resist them at great cost. I mean, yeah, and one of the costs is, well, great expense, first of all. How we, deny and exist and resist emotions is very energetically and resource expensive. But the cost of loss of the healing that they bring, the wisdom that they bring, the guidance that these emotions bring, that's the big loss. So let's practice, and I'll ask you to sit comfortably. Please, this part, don't just sit and watch because it'll just look silly. Participate with me, and then you'll really have your own experience. So traditionally what I do is to get you going, give you some time to let the Kriya, the Pranayama exercise work for you and on you. It'll make some changes in your physiology and your mentation. And then while you're still breathing, while you're still exercising, I'll start giving you some cues to use the neutral clarity that you gain to explore. And same thing after we finish, I'll have you meditate and give you some guidance. So as always, if my voice is disrupting your meditation, I apologize, but I'm trying to help you understand how to work so you can always tune me out and go wherever your wisdom brings you, all right? So here we go. We're going to just sit with the hands over the heart center, so it helps bring energy and attention to this. This is where people feel a lot of grief. You might feel it different places, but breath, heart are very related to, and lungs are very related to sadness. So the emotional and the physical are always interlocked, all right? So here's our breathing pattern, rather unusual, but your body will recognize it. It's approximately three quick sips in through your mouth. Like when you're shocked, or some people when they're grieving, they're wailing like, ah, and there's a lot of liquid going on up here, and so you grab a breath, sort of jumpy. So your body and your mind will remember that, and this will help. But the breath, the deep breath, will help clarify, so you're not overwhelmed by any feelings. So we're going to lean forward a little bit. That'll be on the exhale through the nose. So I exhale through the nose, and then kind of jumpy, come up approximately 3, might be 2, 3, 4, 5 breaths, and let's begin. Here we go. Give a little moan with your exhale. This is a little piece of a larger Kriya that's within Kundalini Yoga, so we're just going to specialize on this one part. The breath will be deep. Those sips, those jerky sips in, do fill your lungs, and then you very relaxed, let them out, surrender. All right, go with me now. We're going to go at least a full 6 minutes, so let it work now. Breathe. Please join me. Now you may feel nothing, you may feel weird. Don't let that stop you or inform you. Just do the practice, keep breathing, keep bowing. The inhale's jerky through the mouth, the exhale is sort of a sigh, like out through the nose. And your nervous system recognizes this as universal. You may not have ever grieved this deeply, but your body knows it. If we're going to let grief and sadness help us heal, we've got to invite them in. We've got to let them be there. So keep breathing. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm sorry about the video interruptions. Yeah, let's do our best here. I'm out in the country and my connection's not so great, but let's do our best. Here we go. This part's okay if the video is interrupted. You'll just do what you're doing. I apologize for the video quality. Let's keep up. Let's do our best. Now, I hope you can hear me, and if you can't, just keep going. But I want to give you a few cues. Grief is in the lungs. Grief is in the heart. So breathe powerfully, but let yourself feel. And now, even further, can you think of things, of losses and things that have caused you grief? And remember them now. Feel them now. Let yourself be sad. Right? So think of this. This is an exercise, a kriya. Be willing to venture into the feelings. You will feel fine. 99% of the time, you'll feel fine and you'll feel even better. So please be willing to go into it. Yes, we'll do this one more minute. It'll give us 6 minutes. Remember, you can always do this on your own, longer, for as long till you feel relief. But in this short class today, we're just introducing it and seeing what you can do with a little guidance, a little safety. So again, focus now while you're still breathing, moving. Think of things that have caused you sadness. So the betrayal, the anything you can remember. We've all had lots of losses, but if there's something really strong right now, go with it and let yourself grieve. You've got to get some of the initial load of the emotion released. Most of us resist this, don't know how to do it, don't feel safe doing it. So I hope in these few minutes you can feel safe to just let the feelings flow. Please believe me or find out for yourself that these feelings are healing. They're helpful. They've got a job to do. Coming up through the last minute. If you're just joining, we're breathing like this. And letting, this may not be long enough practice for you today, but you can practice on your own to fully immerse yourself in those feelings. And if you go further, you'll feel relief. It's well known scientifically that feeling emotion diminishes its impact. And in my view, that's because the emotion is trying to help you, and it's got to escalate to break through any resistance. Okay, we're going to just, in a few seconds, sit and meditate calmly. So just take your last few deep breaths. And now inhale deeply through the mouth evenly. And hold. Now, lift your chest, pull your chest forward, press against it with the hands so you feel solid. Lean forward, exhale through the nose. Inhale deeply. Lift, expand, and press and feel solid. Exhale, slump forward. And last time, inhale. Deep, expand and create a nice pressure, solid, strong. And let it go. Now let your hands rest down and sit quietly, peacefully. Let the mind be quiet, be present. Relate to your chest area, your heart area. Now, can you more neutrally look at the thing that has upset you? Look at the loss. Look at the betrayal. You've thought a lot about it, so just take it in a big landscape. But don't let the mind be busy. Just be aware. Feel the impact in your heart. Feel the pain in your heart if it's there. And ask. Let the answer come from your heart, not your mind. Why was this thing I've lost? What have I lost? What have I lost? Not just a person, place, or thing, but beliefs, ideas, trust. Let your heart show you some of the many things beyond the physical, beyond the temporary. What in you? What was the experience you've lost? Your own personal feelings and experience that were so wonderful before seem gone forever now. So we're looking at the deeper experiential loss to you personally. Okay? So if you're in a neutral state as much as you can, those things will become clear. Let them, but don't think, just see and feel, receive, listen, feel. Now, if you've gone to a deeper experience of love, trust, joy, now ask your heart, can I let go of that former reality, that source, that belief? Very reluctant to let go of something, but here's how you might be willing. Do I have new ways to get more of that experience that I find is so important to me? Is there other way? Are there other ways to find love, trust, faith, happiness, wisdom, inspiration? Whatever the thing. Now your heart's like a big searchlight, and it can look out into the universe, the world, your world, and say, yes, there's more of that. You don't have to live without it. But you will have to let go. Thinking what you had was the one and only way. You'll have to let go of the past, of what was. And it's your choice. You won't let go until you are ready. But you might be willing to let go when you see on the horizon, I don't have to live without that. I can have more. That person, place, or thing awakened me to a better life, a better experience, to new feelings, to new realities. Now that they were like a messenger, brought me the message, and now I have it with me. And I can find more. And the best source, a great source, is right within you. Non-physical thoughts, feelings, experiences, and realities, and states of consciousness, states of energy, can be created by you yourself. That's the golden goose right there. That's the source. But you will want also physical replacement sources that may not be as good as the original, but could be better. Could be. So do you feel you can move on? This short practice may not be enough. You healing, grieving, letting go, moving on. That happens in stages, little at a time, little by little. So you can find for yourself how to do that over time. All right, so if you're still meditating with me now, inhale deeply, hold, again, expand and pressurize so you feel solid in your body, your back grounded on earth, everything's okay. Exhale and relax. And I think we should move the body just a little bit. So roll your shoulders both ways. Get back in your body. Feel the body again. Move into your head. Now with grief, you may feel your body a lot. The body, body participates in all emotions. It's not just in the mind. Okay, and what else? Shake the hands, arms, shoulders, hands. Come on, just get back in the body. And a little clapping right in front of the heart. Whew. All right, so we're back. Now, what was your experience? If anybody wants to put into the chat, I'm really sorry about the connection today. I'm in an area where I don't have as good connection, and I'll try to fix that for next week. In fact, if it's really bad, we'll repost this or something. But so you can always email me, gurumayor@sensesofthesoul.com, or find me at sensesofthesoul.com, and you can share with me if you want, if you need some more help. I'm a yoga therapist. I've got a book called Senses of the Soul that deals with all this. We're going to continue this series on betrayal just one more week, and that's next week, acceptance. So really today, letting go. We're really moving into acceptance already, but grief sets the stage for full acceptance. And the acceptance is when you really are back in reality, in your new reality, and you can move on. So we'll do that next week, and then after that, we'll continue the Viral Emotions series in other realms. I also want to announce that I'm on October 14th, so this same day, but later in the evening, I think it's 4 o'clock Pacific time, I'm going to start a series under KRI, so our sister organization KRI, Sex and the Spiritual Teacher. So if your betrayal has anything to do with that, then we'll be really focusing in on that. There's a book by that name, and this will be a reading sharing group. It'll be Zoom interactive. So if that interests you, that starts October 14th for 4 weeks. It's a for-pay course. It's a class, but there are all kinds of donation options there if money's a challenge for you right now. So join me in 2 weeks for Sex and the Spiritual Teacher. Somebody asked, well, which teacher? And I'm like, any and all, you know, like you may be a teacher, you may be a student, you may have a child in school that's a student and has a teacher. You may have a spiritual teacher or that kind of thing. So Sex and Spiritual Teacher starts. That'll be a 4-week class. So I hope you'll, if that's part of your grieving process or your betrayal, then that'll be very helpful. So I hope you'll join me. That's it for today, folks. Viral Emotions. I thank you, and we'll see you next time. Okay, bye now.